Welcome to Weekly Digest, where we highlight the works of ministers of government as they push the administration's development agenda. A number of systems are being put in place to improve agricultural activities and production, specifically for farmers residing in Cane Grove Region 4.
I will ask NARI, who is responsible for these groups across the country, to come here, invite the community, invite members of the group, invite all those persons who wants to be in the group, and ensure that they hold an election.
On Friday, Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa officially opened a $28.3 million agro-processing facility in Charity along the Essequibo Coast, Region 2. An important step has been taken towards realizing the untapped potential of the local agro-processing industry with the launch of the cutting-edge food processing facility.
And as our country move up the ranking, as our economy develop, we'll need more facilities like these. Try as much as possible to embrace the new way that government and we in the Ministry of Agriculture are trying to implement the new ways how we should do things.
The $95.4 million Marine Messiah Wing was commissioned at Bishop's High School. The new block features 8 additional classrooms, 1 laboratory, a cafeteria, an upgraded canteen, and washroom facilities.
It's a new building that we hope will produce children who will turn into adults that are able to take this country forward, that are able to lead in whatever sphere you choose, that are able to bring about and develop the new Guyana that we have been speaking of.
Cross-streaming will now be facilitated in all the national and A-list high schools so that students can take their Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate courses from more than one stream.
So if someone is doing Phys Chem Bio and the science subjects and you want to cross-stream 2 art subjects, it's going to be allowed on the timetable.
A total of 35 Region 5 students were awarded for their exceptional performances at this year's National Grade 6 Assessment NGSA and the Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate CSEC. The region's 10th annual award ceremony saw the top performers receiving trophies, laptop computers, and school supply kits, among other items.
I hope that this is the beginning or the stepping stone for your future endeavors. We are seeing development in all the sector, and for us to maintain that, it is students like these awardees here this afternoon who will be responsible for the continuous growth and development of our country.
As part of another commitment to provide quality education to the nation's children, Minister of Education Priya Manik Chand commissioned the $93 million new De Williams Secondary School in Region 3 on Friday. Notably, to acquire a full secondary education, primary top students at Saraswat Primary School will no longer need to attend a secondary class at a primary school. Instead, they will attend a discrete secondary school starting on Monday.
So to us, when we say education is important, when we say getting a secondary education is important, it's more than just words. It's very easy to say those things. It's very easy to talk about how important education is and how it's the gateway out of poverty and how it's the key to the world and all those other cliches. Beautiful words, but lyrics, if they aren't accompanied by action. When we say to you, we believe education is important, you will see our actions accompanying that. Building out of schools, training teachers, helping parents to get their kids into schools, giving textbooks, giving school grants. You'll see that in our action.
Additionally, through the school grant program, teachers will be given $4,000 per child on the coastland, while $5,500 will be provided for each child in the hinterland regions. The grants will be provided to the schools per term for preparation of the classroom. Minister Manik Chand emphasized that a list will be supplied to teachers, which will direct teachers' purchases to ensure a transparent process while urging them to make creative use of the grant.
This has never been done before. We're very glad to be able to do this. Teachers are going to have wide latitude about what they buy. So we know some of the generic things that are needed. Cardboard and chalk and Play-Doh and markers and crayons and cleaning supplies and so on. But we also know that that list, and while we are providing lists of what can be bought, we know those are not exhaustive, because if we have innovative teachers, which is what we want, then I expect to see other things added to that list.
Residents of Cane Grove, Region 4 will now have the full service of a Neighborhood Democratic Council, NDC, as the $14.2 million facility has been commissioned.
I want to let the residents know that you all will be better and best served in this community. I want to ask the NDC to take good care of the building, to keep the yard clean, because that or this premises can be the stepping stone in enhancing your community.
To ensure that doctors and nurses are placed in comfortable and safe housing, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony, during his visit to Region 9, commissioned a staff quarter in Yupukari. The Regional Democratic Council funded the $14 million facility.
We also recognize that if we put down a health center or a health post, that sometimes the staff is not from the village, then it can create a problem because they don't have anywhere to stay. And we took a decision that we must build good staff quarters so that persons who are not from the village would be able to use those quarters. Or in some instances, if we have the healthcare worker, even if they're from the village, and they would like to use the quarters, then we can make those arrangements.
To better manage trauma victims and prevent fatalities, the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation resuscitated its trauma team training after being halted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The training was officially at Project Dawn, Liliendahl, and will see 25 providers receiving 2 days of training.
I'm very happy that this training is happening and that you will get the necessary skills to work more effectively with our patients. Very often, a couple minutes can make a big difference. And if we have teams that understand what to do, those critical minutes, we can change the dynamics for a patient. And so it is very, very important training, and I do hope that you pay close attention.
Further, 29 persons will be trained as the first batch of pharmacy assistants in Region 9 through the Ministry of Health. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony outlined several health projects being undertaken countrywide, including in the Rupununi, where $200 million has been invested to improve health facilities.
While we invest in infrastructure, invest in equipment, we also need to invest in people. And so we've started a number of programs, and before, as Ms. Bristol was saying, most people had to travel from here to go to Georgetown for training. And then we can only take so many because we just don't have space to train a lot of people. But we took a conscious decision of bringing people, bringing the faculty to the region and doing the programs in the region so we can decentralize the programs where the students would be trained right in the region.
Around 182 residents of Kwaiko village located in south-central Rupununi, Region 9, are now benefiting from a brand new $14 million health post.
We don't want to build facilities alone. We don't want to give you equipment alone. We also want to train people from the community who will be working in these facilities, maintaining them and providing services. And if we can do that together, I'm sure we will be able to see an improvement in the care that we are giving to the community.
Region 9's health infrastructure is experiencing tremendous transformation as Sand Creek, Karasabai, and Anai Health Centers are to be transformed into district hospitals.
All these projects have already been designed. I think they're at a stage now where they're getting the contractors in, and very soon they will start the construction.
Construction of the Hospitality Institute has started and will cater to the training needs of the growing tourism and hospitality sector in Guyana.
The Hospitality Institute, I'm happy to announce, is well on its way. The CDB, we had to repurpose the project to conceptualize what we want for a Hospitality Institute, which is something state-of-the-art, something that is fit for purpose for where we see our tourism sector growing and booming. And the project, as previously conceptualized, did not envision that. So we had to enlarge the facility, add more sort of state-of-the-art kitchens and for people to be trained.
To meet the infrastructure demands of Guyana, ANSA Building Solutions was launched. The new construction company is a subsidiary of ANSA McCall Group of companies who has solidified their confidence to continue investing in Guyana.
And now that the country is going in a particular direction, I guess they probably sat and thought about how they can make good use of the opportunities that exist and where we are going. And now they bring to us a new line in ABS.
Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgell says the Conversation Tree Road project is expected to be completed within the stipulated deadline.
Well, we didn't give CALCO any green light because they didn't get a red light. CALCO had to move from being a place of a non-performing contractor into performing and delivering the project within the stipulated timeline. So the principals of CALCO came and we engaged them, or they engaged with us, and we made certain agreements. They have engaged Guyanese subcontractors to do specific aspects of the work so that there'll be multiple things being done at the same time to move the project along. We have made it very clear we're not playing on this project. You have a signed contract. Execute it in keeping with the clauses and conditions of the contract.
Some 1,000 meters of the road leading to the Kuru Primary School is said to be constructed to improve the lives of persons living there. Minister Edgell met with the residents of the community where he informed that $103 million has been set aside for these works.
While we put the 1,000 meter under construction, we'll have to do some rehabilitation to the other section that is not going to be under full construction, which would mean we'll have to put in some loom, put in some crusher run, and have it compacted.
Contracts valued $182 million were signed to advance Phase 2 of the rehabilitative works on a number of roads in Alboy Sound and Castello Housing Scheme, Georgetown. 16 contracts were signed to build 8 streets and 3 bridges in the area.
We will continue to press forward in this community to build out this community. And we'll have the folks in this community do the build out too. That is what we said in the beginning. That is what the president came to this community and said, and that is what we're doing.
With Guyana currently producing approximately 400,000 barrels of oil per day, with 2 floating production, storage and offloading vessels, FPSOs, it is projected that by 2027, the country will see a vast increase of over 1 million barrels being produced daily. This was revealed by a minister within the Ministry of Public Works, Deodat Indar, during a recent training session with Guyanese students at the Guyana Oil and Gas Chambers.
By the end of the year, 600,000 barrels per day. By 2027, you'll end up with 1.3 million barrels per day by 2027. And you'll continue to climb because you will have about 7 FPSOs offshore.
This brings us to the end of this edition of Weekly Digest. For these and other government-related stories, do log on to our websites at dpi.gov.gy and our social media platforms as well. Goodbye.